Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mags. So it's just ended there, down at Anfield. Liverpool 2, Newcastle United 1. Should have been a 1-1 draw, but we'll talk about it quickly in this video. It's going to be a short one, of course, because of the way this game played out. Just absolutely dreadful. Officiating in the game. Newcastle played amazing in the game. We really took the game at Liverpool, just like we did to Manchester City. But again, poor officiating in the Premier League has ruined an absolutely fantastic night, an absolutely fantastic game. And that typical Big Six bias crap has ruined yet another entertaining game in the Premier League. This needs to be sorted. This needs to be sorted now. The way that game ended tonight, it should have never ended like that. The way the game played out, it was fantastic. There was great atmosphere. Yes, the Liverpool fans booed a little bit, like I said they would in the preview. I hoped they would have got behind their team, but they didn't. We got behind our team, as we always do. But Liverpool fans did not get behind Liverpool one bit until, of course, they scored their goal in the game, which came on the 61st minute. Of course, Newcastle opened the scoring on the 38th minute with our brand new £63 million signing, Alexander Isak, scoring the goal. A sensational goal as well by Isak to open the scoring for Newcastle in the game. Isak also scored a second goal in the game, which is where the corruption started off for me, where, of course, they disallowed a perfectly good goal by Alexander Isak after he beat 2 or 3 men, I think it was. He beat inside Liverpool's box and then put it in the back of the net past Alisson in goal for Liverpool, of course. And, you know, we deserved to come away from this game tonight with at least a point. But instead, we're coming away from this game tonight with no points because of a dodgy referee, the same referee that's always dodgy in the Premier League, in Andre Marina. The officiating tonight was absolutely dreadful. Some of the worst officiating I've seen in the Premier League, and I've seen some pretty bad officiating. I've watched Mike Dean games, and, you know, at the end of the day, that tonight had nothing on a Mike Dean games officiating. The way he officiated that game tonight, Andre Marina, was absolutely horrendous by him and by his officiating team. Jurgen Klopp, typical as always, on the sideline, whining and whining and whining all night long because he wasn't getting his way. Newcastle were taking the game to them. Fair enough, Liverpool did have attacks, you know, but they were pretty quiet in the game. Newcastle opened the scoring, like I said, on the 38th minute. And then Liverpool got the luckiest of luckiest moments, the dodgiest of dodgiest moments, the most corrupt moment you'll ever see in sports ever. On the 98th minute, with 5 minutes added on, Liverpool score the goal to win the game against Newcastle at Anfield. That should never ever have happened tonight. Should have never ever happened. The FA need to look into this. And they need to look into this now. This is happening way too much. There's way too much corruption in the English game. It needs to be sorted. It needs to be sorted now before it ruins this fantastic sport that we all love. You know, and that tonight proved it. That tonight proved the absolute corruption that is in the English game. It is so far into the English game that it is buried deep within inside this English game. And we need to get rid of this absolute corruption. Tonight proved it. Newcastle should have come away with at least a point out of this game. But we didn't. We come away with nothing because of a dirty referee, a dirty situation. And to add it on to it as well, you have the Liverpool coaching staff running off of their bench when the goal goes in, shouting 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 to the Newcastle United bench. It's absolutely, completely and utterly just disgusting behaviour, unprofessional, should not be happening. This is a Premier League. This is meant to be the best league in the world. The best league in the world. That's what it's meant to be. tonight proved that the Premier League is not the best league in the world by the officiating that went on in that game tonight. It was absolutely disgusting. The first yellow card of the night got shown to a Newcastle United player. You know, there were so many times where a Liverpool player in that game should have picked up a yellow card, but they didn't because the referee deemed it not to be. And that is what we will always have with the Premier League. There will always be a bias towards clubs like Liverpool, towards clubs like Man United, towards clubs like Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, even Manchester City, you know, and this needs to stop. This needs to stop now for anybody to be able to have a fair crack at this game. Look at when Leicester won the title, you know, not that long ago. It was a fantastic fairy tale story that everybody got behind. There was people talking about it in America. There was people talking about it in China. There was people talking about it in New Zealand that Leicester City won the Premier League. But they don't want that. No, they don't want that. They want the same teams winning the Premier League title every single season. Let's not forget, this Premier League was made in 92-93 for the exact purpose of allowing Manchester United to be able to win Premier League titles. This was made so that Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal could go out there and win titles. That was why this league was made. And tonight was again proving that they have still not moved away from that period in time. They have still not realised that there is teams that are out there like Manchester City, like Newcastle United, who have the money, are able to bring in that exposure. We have the greatest fan base in the world, and they still completely and utterly just shadow Newcastle aside to focus on clubs like Liverpool, focus on clubs like Man United, focus on clubs like Man City, you know, and this needs to stop. I'm not saying that Newcastle need to get help from the Premier League. We don't need that. I'm not saying that. You know, we can do it ourselves. We don't need the help. We've proven that with the Manchester City game already this season. We've proven that with the game tonight against Liverpool. We don't need help. But clearly, clubs like Liverpool do. Clearly, clubs like Manchester United do. They need the help. And that is why they continue to get it. But this needs to be sorted, and it needs to be sorted now. That was an absolute disgusting show of unprofessionalism tonight at Anfield. And Newcastle should have at least been coming away with a point. But there is positives to take from this game. I will end it off on a high. There is positives to take from this game tonight. Even if we didn't pick up a point or 3 points out of this game tonight, there is positives. The positives are, we've got Alexander Isak, somebody who looks absolutely fantastic, somebody who's put in an absolutely amazing performance tonight in his debut game. He scored 2 absolutely fantastic goals. Yes, one of them was disallowed, but it should have been allowed. When you look at it back on the replay, which did take a while before they showed you it, but when you look at it back on the replay, you could clearly see he was onside. And that should have counted tonight. That would have been 2-0. Liverpool maybe wouldn't have got their goal in the game. It would have possibly ended at 2-0 Newcastle. But who knows? We'll never know now. But that's one positive. Another positive is that there's 6 winnable games coming up against some really easy-ish teams. No game's easy in the Premier League, of course, but there are some winnable games coming up. 6 winnable games. That game tonight, you know, put Newcastle 11th place, put Liverpool 5th place. We'll go again in the game against Palace. Let us know your thoughts on Alexander Isak tonight. What did you think of him? I've got to say, he was absolutely fantastic. Sean Longstaff, again, just looked out of place for me. He's never looked the same since, you know, when Rafa Benitez was here. He was being linked to Man United for 50 million. I think it's time, you know, Sean Longstaff goes along and moves away from Newcastle, either on loan, you know, in this window, get him out to a different club to allow him to build his self back up, or, you know, sell him and see what we can get for him. But I don't think he's a Newcastle United player at this moment in time, not with the way he's performing. Joe Willock looked amazing tonight. He put in a better shift than what he has done recently. And, you know, we were missing, let's not forget, Bruno. We were missing, you know, Callum Wilson as well tonight. We were missing quite a few of our first teamers. Liverpool were only missing 2 players tonight. 3 if you want to count Darwin Núñez. But other than Darwin Núñez, you know, them other 2 weren't really first teamers. So we can feel very disheartened by tonight's end result. But like I say, to end off on a high, think of them positives. We've got an absolutely world-class player in Alexander Isak. 6 games where they are pretty winnable games. And, you know, we're still an absolutely amazing team. Probably the best of the rest in my eyes. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see you all later. And however that's.